Welcome everyone to this segment of the World Business Angel Investors Week 2024 Lebanon's edition. It gives me a great pleasure to host on this segment Yusr Sabra. Yusr is a dynamic co-founder and CEO of Wakilni. With a passion for logistics and innovation, Yusr has transformed Wakilni into a leading provider of last-mile delivery solutions in Lebanon and beyond. Her entrepreneurial spirit and commitment to operational excellence have driven significant growth and customer satisfaction for Wakilni in their markets. Yusr's leadership extends beyond business as she actively promotes diversity and inclusion within her company and the broader entrepreneurial community in Lebanon. Welcome, Yusr, to this fireside chat, and thank you for accepting the invitation.
Thank you for having me, and thank you for this intro. I think it's one of the nicest intros. I need it afterwards to use it later. Thank you.
I'll send you a copy of that. Yusr, this is really the least to say about what you have been doing and what Wakilni has been doing over the last several weeks. I know that I personally know the story of Wakilni. We've met several years ago, and I witnessed the early days of Wakilni and the journey of growth, which really had lots of ups and downs. And you've navigated crises like only a few. I don't want to say like no one else did. Only a few people have managed to navigate the crisis with perseverance. I don't wanna tell the story. It's best told by yourself. And while telling us the story about Wakilni, I would really love to link that to your views of angel investment and how, if at all, angel investment was instrumental for the journey of Wakilni ever since the inception till today.
Thank you for this intro again. And yes, definitely, the point where we received angel investments was actually a turning point for us. So I will tell you briefly. Wakilni was like the first service of Wakilni was carried out early on in 2016, November 2016. But it was back then basically a service line under another company that we had built. And it was supposed to be a concierge service that is offered to homeowners and business owners, basically a B2C a service that allows people to outsource their errands. But very quickly, we realized that actually there is demand in a parallel sector in e-commerce, basically, and that there is a lot of demand that is growing, and it was not very well serviced back then because the drivers of it were micro and small businesses that were underserved by large players in the market. And we found basically our window from that. So we partnered, us being a small business, we partnered with other small businesses in e-commerce, and we started understanding basically what this industry requires. We started tailoring, and this was something that we were doing from this early on, so customizing our service to these SME businesses, and this is how we kicked off. So fast forward to today. We consider ourselves as logistics partners, logistics and technology partners to SMEs specifically in e-commerce, and we offer them a wide variety of services and technologies. We cover all of Lebanon. We kicked off operation in Jordan around 8 months ago, and we are now looking at more markets to enter into. But I want to tell you that when we kicked off, we didn't start off with a typical startup story. Mm-hmm. So we didn't have technology. We were actually using third-party technologies because none of my team members were developers, neither myself, but we just identified a service that was underserved, basically. So we were offering a service using third-party technologies. And this put us obviously at a disadvantage. We were not interesting for investors nor to accelerators. We applied back in 2017, 18 to several accelerator programs. We never got accepted to them. We did win some competition, so we were getting a bit of recognition, but because we had traction, basically. But when we talked about come and invest in us, it wasn't something that was easy for us back then. What that meant was for a very long time, we had to bootstrap. So we bootstrapped for a while, and it was funded by myself, by other co-founders. So it was very, very tight. like literally very tight. We would be splitting payments, we would delay payments to suppliers, not everyone was getting paid on time. So it was a pretty difficult to navigate. However, we always knew that, you know, when we hit a certain volume, this is the point where we will be able to achieve break even. So we were always heading towards that kind of volume. And along the way, we had realized that, you know what, technology is very important to what we're doing. We cannot scale, we cannot actually be investable, we cannot be really maintaining our competitive advantage without owning our own technology. And because we did not have funding back then, and I couldn't raise money for the tech element, what we did was we accepted, and this was the first form of sort of an investment that we did. We partnered with an agency that does development, but we swapped equity. We didn't swap equity. We gave them equity basically. So versus the first version of the platform that we wanted to build ourselves, they received back then 5% equity.
Equity in exchange of development of the
exactly
technology.
Exactly. So they built the platform for us, and then they became shareholders, which meant that they cared about the platform that they built. And for several years, we maintained a retainer-based relationship where they maintained the system, they developed further products for us. So this kind of relationship stayed this way for a few years until 2023. We took the technology fully in-house. So today it's a different story. We have our own CTO, we have our own developers team, so everything is done in-house. But this was essential for us to take this step back then because we didn't have funding and we needed to own the technology. So going back to the angel investments, so this is around 2019. The technology had been built. We had moved from third-party technology to our own technology. We were starting to gain momentum. Things were starting to become a bit better. And then the crisis happened. So we had the revolution, and then half of the country, everything stopped. No more sales, etc. Our volume dropped 70% overnight. And this was a very big hit for us. It put us back several steps behind. So what we did at that point is that we actually decided to set up a crowdfunding, how do you call it? We used a crowdfunding platform called Zumal. So on Zumal, we told our story. It was a very bold step to do, and it was a team decision. So I actually sat with the team. Guys, this is our situation. Plan A, plan B, plan C. What are we going to do? So someone suggested, why don't we try crowdfunding? So this is what we did. We set up a video, we told our story, and we were trying to raise $50,000 back then, just to get us through the period. And we received out of these 50,000, only 5,000. But what happened is that we got the story out there. So I received 2 calls from within the network of two people, 2 angels in my network that saw the story and were like, Yusr, we're interested to invest. And we were able to raise 4 times between them, 4 times the amount that we were raising through the crowdfunding. And it was very, very, very it was a game changer for us. It got us through the very tough period. And then some time passed, around a year. And I received an email, literally, Sulaiman, I'm not kidding, at like 2 a.m. in the morning. I received an email from an expat telling me that somehow they came across our old video. This was like a year after. And he was asking if we are still interested, if we're still accepting investments. And we're like, of course, because now we want to actually grow. We needed funding again, etc. And we raised another 500,000 from this gentleman as well. These are not very typical stories, you know. So for me, before, accepting angel investments was a very big deal because it meant that we had other partners that we are just getting to know, and you are bringing them on board, and now they have a say, and you know, you have to report to them. You are liable towards them, and this was. It was a learning experience for me, I have to say. But we were very lucky that these 3, they happened to be all gentlemen. They were very much aligned with us on our values. And this was very clear from the beginning. Yani, had it been other people, maybe, so 2 out of these 3, I already knew. I knew them already. And I knew what they stand for, the networks that we belong in, we have very common points, and it was an easy yes for me.
Okay.
The third person that came on board, I had to get to know him more. It was over Zoom. I had to understand why, what is the long end, why is he investing, what is he interested in? And when it was clear that there's a lot of alignment, and here, another thing that I did is I took the opinion of my close, basically it was my family. I literally introduced him to people that I trust so that I make sure the sanity check, you know, what you think this is legitimate, am I making this the right choice, etc. And alhamdulillah, yani, years forward, this was one of the best decisions because it was this specific angel investment that we accepted that allowed us to be on safe grounds, basically.
Okay. And ready to grow as well.
Yes,
Like,
of course.
okay.
Of course, exactly.
Yeah. So this is really an interesting story in every aspect, Yusr, really. And what you highlighted with regards to the fact that angel investment is not only about the the size of the ticket. It's really about the alignment at of values and aspirations and many other non-cash or non-money related, non-financial related qualities of the two entities coming together, right?
Exactly. And you know, now that today this is the first time we're trying to raise institutional funding through VCs, and
Okay.
its difference is very clear to me. So angels usually they
Please
know
elaborate on that, because I would really love for our audience to learn from these from your real life experience.
angels know what they want. They usually invest for the person more than the business itself. They might be interested in the business, they have to believe in it, but usually it's more about a connection. Like, I like you, I like what you're doing, I believe in you. It's a personal
and the cause as well, Yusr.
Exactly.
And the
And
cause.
the cause, of course. They're faster, so it's much easier to actually cash in on the money. VCs take forever on that. The legal element of things as well is much easier. It's simply an agreement that you can sign, and then that's it. The due diligence that is required through the VCs takes such a long time, basically, and it's not even guaranteed at the end. But the thing is, angel investments, this is also from my humble experience, it only serves you for a while. And then when you get to a certain level, the ticket size that you need is much bigger than what angels can provide you. And then at some point you have to go into the VC. And then here's the other tricky part, and this is something that we had to do. So we have raised since then several tickets from angel investors, which meant, and we needed to do that in order to continue growing, basically. And it was not the best structured way. Yani we ended up with a cap table, what is known as a messy cap table, that is not very interesting to VC. So this is something very important for entrepreneurs to be aware of, is that, okay, securing the money is great, but make sure it is involve proper legal advice from the beginning, so that they tell you how to structure the agreements, how to structure the cap table in a way that doesn't hurt you along the way when the VCs are looking at you. Because this can be a direct, they stop actually listening when they hear specific red flags from what the cap table looks like.
Right. Interesting.